Muy buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. As always, muchas gracias to everyone for everyone's words, wishes, prayers, and the love and support everyone extends my way. From the heart, gracias. Also, do please like, share, subscribe, and hype the video to help the message get out a little further. And before I get started, I know I already said some things, but some things occurred me picking up children, right, from the family, from the airport, coming back from Semana Santa, and I wasn't gonna stop regardless. So I ramped through it, and one hard I'm never wearing a seatbelt in case you gotta jump out. But God worked in her favor, ramped through them, and the route, the dirt road started and kept going on until other people arrived, right? But by that time, I had, I don't even know where I hit in the car or whatever. It'll go away. Pain goes away quick, but that's why I've been a little MIA, everyone. It's, I guess they were government and they're making it a bigger issue because they were government. I did not stop for them. But regardless, that's not important. You know, I come down to the ranch in the morning and I come down at night. So hopefully I could keep doing videos for a minute at least. But anyways, today I want to touch on my primos. I said I would touch on, Tito from La Habra, Clica Los Monos. And before I get into it, man, that fool are around the same age, right? So we go back, man, we go back. You know, either him up in Santa Rosa, me in La Habra, or hubo me up at the rancho in Culiacan. He's just, it isn't just my primo, he was a good camarada, right? And as we got older, we started getting busted, him his way and me my way. And, you know, I remember I was in Ironwood when I got palabra that, you know, there was an ex EME member that was walking the yard with a different name and things, and Tito raised his hand, to take care of it, and it was a mission because it wasn't like they didn't want this fool blasted; they wanted this fool gone, right? He took on that responsibility, ain't nobody could really say anything, right? He knows what he does, and if he thought he could get it done, he was gonna get it done. Anyways, for those that were there in Lancaster, know, this individual, he was older but healthy, right? And Tito is Never been a small guy, but he's never been big guy either, right? He's always stayed in shape though. Well, right by the soccer field, he hit him right. He hit him one time in the cuello, and it just happened to slit the artery, the main one, and he backed up, and there's a little gutter there where he threw it, and by the time he threw it, that individual, no sense, was a weenie, right? Okay, he started rushing Tito. He wouldn't he would have stopped rushing him, so they started going tips up, and all that went out the window, to hit and try to get away, because it just wasn't going to happen, right? The alarm had already went down, and Homewood was still fighting for his, and he was going to drop regardless, because he's gotten hit good, right? And it would eventually happen. Tito got sprayed, got put down, and they went to the hole for that. Or at least Tito, right? The other individual, he was declared dead, and started playing games with Tito from the gate, right? Because I guess if he did it alone, he was gonna automatically get inducted into the clica, right? Which he did, and he just trusted the wrong Billy. The one that called this Cuetazo was Wino from La Rana back there, and now he had to wait till he did certain things, and you know, but he was gonna be well off. So in Ironwood, me hearing this, I was like, "Oh, that fool played him out of pocket." Period. He used him, got what he took all the credit for taking out a known DO, and the homie's gonna go do his 4 years, and he would eventually fall out, fade out, you know, which is what pretty much ended up happening. He did another pegada for Wino in the hole, and then he got shipped out to Pelican Bay for uh, for 4 balas. And this 4 balas is kind of where I'm going through Ironwood, Tehachapi, and when I hit the 180 that I was supposed to remove the mess that they ended up telling on me. It was well known they were removing me right from the yard, because they even put me in one block at first. And in one block I was in A section in the last cell, and Tito was in B section in the last cell upstairs, right? And for those that don't know, it could be just one of us. We still have to make a presence known, you know, showing everybody that we're there, regardless of how many of us are there, right? And I was messed up. I ain't gonna lie to you, cause from the grenades they threw in the cell and the stomping in and dragging you out, man. It's not a day thing where it goes away, right? But regardless, that it's just a showing a weakness that you're not supposed to show. So, anyways, we had already gotten out the CO, see if we could move in, since we were the only two camaradas in the section, right, in one block. So he's gonna look into it, and keep in mind, by this time, I had already been up north and riot after riot after certain things with norteños, and they had me as a threat, supposedly. And this Huda comes and he goes, "Look, they have you sealed up with homewood." So I read the paperwork, and it was some dude from San Jose. So okay, firmes. Or you don't want to move? No, no, Simon, firmes. Whoever, you can't deny a move. That's part of being a soldado, right? So I got a Tito and a Wheeler, and I told him, look, because of the county I live in, this fool trying to okey doke me and put a norteño in my cell. So we'll let him come in, take the cuffs off, close the door, and then it's time to take him out the cell, right? And Tito said, Simon, Simon, Simon. So it happened to the dot. They brought the vato from San Ho, even had a Mongolian and everything, you know. He took off his cuffs, I took off mine. Seal closed the door, and I just stood by the door. I was just by the door, right, and I was asking him like, "What do they call you?" Uncle Güero. He was from West Side San Juan, I believe. Anyways, I just asked him, "Are you a norteño?" And he said, "Yeah." I just told Tito, "Yeah, it's time to boogie." And I started putting tips on the dude, you know, on in the cell. I'm not gonna tap my back, but in the cell life, one of my favorite spots where to grab somebody, right? So I put tips on this fool to the point where I had him at the door yelling for a CO, and every time he hesitated, it's una patadita en la boca and grita, right? The seal came and they dragged him out. They asked me to handcuff. I told them I ain't handcuff him. He's right there to drag him out. And they try to play a big issue with it, right? Because of why did you say you could sell up with him? Because I could sell up with anybody. So if I say you could sell up with a black, would you take him as a celly? I'll take him ASAP. White boy, Asian, whatever. So you're not a sureño. I ain't anything, right? I'm Mexican, but I choose who to be in the cell with. You know, I ain't gonna tell you. You guys need to keep that more organized, right? And then the captain said something like why wasn't this clear? And I told him, look at my C file. I come from San Quentin, Tracy, Solano, Vacaville, this and all under what? So whatever. It was gonna be chucked up under the rug, like nothing happened. It was just, of course, it was their mistake, right? And right away, I told Luna I wanted to sell up with the homie. So we we're primos, but we are on Malvarez, he's auto, right? And we stood up for a little bit. Remember, they didn't want us together very long for whatever their stupid reasons were, right? And my cousin was different. My cousin's goal in everything was to become a señor. It didn't matter what he had to go through, who he had to go through. His main objective was to become a señor. And I told him straight out, what for though, homie? What are you gonna gain from it? And always the same answer, right? Respect. Other vatos respect. I told him, yeah, homie, but you never thought about you belong to a clica, to a barrio. That's who should worry about your respect. That's what should matter. Other people that don't even know you, at the end of the day, they're going to be waiting for you to slip up, to remove you. And he just called me, that's how it is, Chino. I respect your decision to the fullest. You just gotta trust me on this. And told Simone, I ain't nobody to tell you how to do your thing, right? I hope you make it, homie. I hope you do make it to become somebody. And hopefully I'm around as a camarada to hear so, right? Anyways, within the day, they came and first they took him to a yard. He had already had palabra. He was gonna take over a yard, right? And like I don't know how long it was, but a couple hours they came and they told me I was going to A block to the hole, right? So they moved me to A block, and in A block is where there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things, man. Mainly with Diablo from Norwalk, on Sporting from Playboys. Um, what was his homie's name from Orange County? Well, I remember that I got an appeal right from Creeper, and he told me like, "Hey, Chino, before you head back this way or to 5 block, try to take care of these three things." So I told him, dispuesto, let's boogie. And I did right with the help of a celly I had from Garden Grove. And they would eventually send me back to 7 block, right? I don't even know where they took my celly that time, but getting back to 7 block, had a very long conversation with Toro regarding my primo, right? And I asked him like, hey, I don't mean to get in your business at all, but Tito's my blood cousin. He's been doing the sacrifices that he's been asked for, you know. He took someone's life, caught life, did whatever he had to do. He keeps pushing through. Do you ever see it possible for a guy, yeah, right? And he straight up told me no. You see, if he would have hit that dude, took care of him, gotten away with it, and still had a release date where it could have been relevant to the cause or making them, then he would already been made. You know, all that. You make the ultimate sacrifice for the cause to become one. It's rare when they say, you know, you gotta take one to become one. And it's rare when they keep their word when that. Believe me, take a first hand experience. I heard it a few times. So my advice to everyone is go in with your chest up high, doing what you're supposed to, being a sureño, representing your neighborhood, getting out with brownie points as a sureño, leaving your neighborhood in good standings, and staying true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones. Buenas noches, everyone.